Today, folks, is it time to go all in on Tesla stock. That's the bull bear whispering in my ear, giving me this bipolar disorder from somebody that owned Tesla in 2019, sold it in 2022 because of the lack of prospects in self-driving, never coming into fruition, even though being promised every year up till 2022 and even being promised this year. But you have to realize the idea of robotics and AI and self-driving, the value that could add to a company like Tesla. And God, I want to talk about it in this video. If I would buy back into it, what price, how would I go about buying back into it? Because damn, I am intrigued by the whole conversation. I mean, it's a very intriguing conversation, and I'm not someone that's just going to take the bull case. That's why I sold out of Tesla, right? Kathy Wood says Tesla stock could soar to 1,030% by 2027, and Elon Musk says it's the best analysis he's seen, which is drawing at straws. Elon stated that he thought Kathy was over bullish leading up to 2020 when the stock exploded, and her, inline price targets actually came pretty close to being in fruition. But the problem here is she's thinking the robotaxi network's what's going to help drive that by 2024, and that is still up for major debate. And that is where, again, my bet came in on Tesla, those prospects of that business that has just not been commercialized. It just hasn't got there yet, right? So let's take this into consideration for a company that trades at a wicked valuation without it, which, again, sketches me out a bit because I don't want to hold this super high premium value company that isn't making money off anything it's trying to sell to me. It's just a good sales pitch for the company to raise money, right? Because I mean, hey, I could start robotics. I want to build AI propelled little robot machines. Give me a few billions of dollars. I'll do it. I mean, that's where Tesla's kind of at with it, right? Like Elon's an incredible sales pitch person. But let's come back to this because, like I said, I am definitely considering the reality of buying this back. But firstly, what I find most intriguing is the negativity around self-driving. There's been a lot of articles saying that, hey, Tesla is one of the farthest behind in self-driving, and which I think is just hit pieces for clickbait, because the reality is, like, I'm watching these videos that just came out of doing comparables between Waymo and Tesla self-driving, and Waymo, another incredible company, but very fixed on different mechanics around its AI software for this kind of mechanism of self-driving. But Tesla was able to beat it because it was able to take highways with no interacting whatsoever. It managed to get there before Waymo did. Now Waymo needs to update it. They're saying they don't know the specific reason why Waymo's not allowed to go on highways right now, whereas Teslas are. But again, keep in mind, Waymo doesn't have anyone behind the wheel, whereas Tesla, you still want to sit behind it. But nonetheless, this was a very, very impressive video, and we're starting to see more and more videos like this. But I don't want just the bull case. I want to see where the issue's still in line, because when you go back a year ago, these weren't the kind of videos I was seeing. I mean, these things can handle high dense city areas. It's doing pretty good with pedestrians and different kinds of traffic. And I mean, this is a 30-minute drive in what seems to be a fairly populated area with no interacting, like no takeovers. But where there is takeovers for sure is construction. I watched this video, and there were several takeovers in this recently posted video of the last software update. I think there's one new one coming out where people are hoping it's going to fix this. But anywhere there's construction, and this was a mild construction issue, you can see the little blue here of the car trying to figure out what it's doing. Should it take the one way here to oncoming, like, because it's open to just, public traffic, people that probably live there, throughway traffic, and look, it just can't figure it out. So the guy does end up taking over. We also see that at the very beginning of this video where this guy does share coming into this very confusing construction area. And for someone that lives in Toronto or near Toronto, I drove down there the other night, and it was a freaking nightmare. I mean, it's like Gotham down there. It's sketchy, it's crazy, construction, condos, cops, accidents. I'd love to know if you own a Tesla, if you have full self-driving, how does it operate in Toronto? But nonetheless, this software is very fluent when it comes to specific areas, clearly, and fairly dense areas. So I cannot foresee why this wouldn't start to roll out at least some form of commercialization in the next, 1 to 2 years. And when I mean commercialization, I mean, obviously there's going to have to be some approval, but hey, Waymo's got it and they're doing stuff. What else is there? I mean, you're going to be talking about trying to actually make the mechanics and the subscription, or how you're going to make the money off of it start becoming economically sensible. And I don't know how that works into the margins. I mean, it's pretty up for speculation. I mean, we could throw random numbers that gives Tesla $10 trillion valuations. Let's be real. But the fact is, the company trades for $564 billion. It's still primarily a car company. Yes, there's solar roofs and solar, and that, side of the business is growing nicely. But we are a long ways out from proving this 52 times multiple in a place where margins are shrinking, and even Elon Musk stated that he's terrified of this economic situation. 12 months from now, he's like, we could be affected just as much as everyone else. So my concern as margins continue to shrink, because this does not have the pricing power that Eli or that Meet Kevin thought it would have, I'm hoping they come out with another earnings period that is just not that nice. I want to see more deteriorative earnings, because that's what's going to open up the buying opportunity. I really was hoping we'd revisit $100 a share or below. We might not. It depends on how much the bulls can keep it up, because it's hard to not envision the future of robotics and self-driving being probably one of the biggest industries we're ever going to see unfold in our lives. And people, I think, are underestimating the value of that. Yes, it's not going to be here tomorrow. Could it take 10, 20, 30 years? Yes. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. Is this a stock that doesn't pay a dividend that you want to hold for that long? And for me personally, my fiance has been really reminiscing with me on this one, because she doesn't want to sell her stocks, any of her stocks. She's like, I want my kids to inherit these. I want to use them for charity sometime late in my age if I make it that long. And I'm like, that's how I want to think about Tesla stock. So how would I go about buying it back? Firstly, I'm going to start buying it back here probably this year. I'm not going to buy it back right now, because again, I just want to see what second quarter earnings are going to look like. So I'm just going to be patient with this. Maybe I end up buying it at a premium. Maybe it flies over $200 on the next earnings. I mean, I got to wait another month and a half here still before we finish the next quarter, right? But nonetheless, I think if the earnings continue to deteriorate, I'll have 12 months of this rocky market to buy it in, and I'm going to cost average into it. I'm probably going to set maybe 10 grand aside to start, and every month for the next 10 to 12 months, I'm just going to put $1,000 in it. I'll use some dividends I'm getting. I'll reinvest some of those into Tesla stock, so that way I'm not paying out of pocket. It's just me using my income already to buy this kind of, hype play as an individual position for myself. But that's the way I'm kind of thinking about it here, because I think the bears are stupid. I honestly think the bears, I get the valuations nuts here, but they're purely valuing it as a car company. And I think in 10, 20-year time frames, again, I think Tesla's valued for the next 5 to 10 years easily. But again, if you're looking at a 20 or 30-year time horizon, which is something I'd consider doing with this company just to be a part of it, I think that you could make some stupid gains. I mean, this could easily be, anywhere from a $2 to $10 trillion company over that period, if we start seeing what we envisioning here. And it's something that like I said, it's hype, it's growth. It's not for everybody, but it's a stock that I do still love, considering the history that I've had with it. So just to finish up, Kevin O'Leary made some funny points, because Elon's not right about everything. I think Elon states a lot of things. I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not just an Elon fanboy, tried and true. But nonetheless, remember when he was saying the work from home life, you got to come back. If you're a construction worker or the guy that builds your car has to go to work, so do you. Listen to what Kevin O'Leary says. It's funny.
You can't apply forcing everybody back to work in San Francisco, where Twitter is headquartered. San Francisco is a war zone. It is perhaps the most mismanaged city in the United States, in the most mismanaged state in the United States. You walk out at night, you risk your life there. You get executed. Why would you force somebody to work in a war zone when they could work, particularly on a product like Twitter, anywhere? He will have a very hard time keeping the best and brightest in Twitter saying, you've got to come and go through the war zone every day. If you get shot at, that's not my problem. Do you have a military vest on? Do you have a helmet? Do you have a tank? How are you going to get to work? You leave after sunset, you die. Who would want that?
I think this is largely over-exaggerated. Now, I was recently in San Francisco, and I got to say, sketchy vibes. But it reminds me of the disparity between the rich and the poor, and what happens when you get this highly evolving city life. Because I see it in Toronto. When I was 17, I'd be walking downtown Toronto at 2 in the morning, and I'd be comfortable. There'd be hardly any homeless people. Yeah, there'd be a few here and there. But go downtown, like Dundas Square now. We went down there on a Wednesday at 11, 12 at night, and it was like Gotham. I mean, oh my God, has the city ever changed? And I think we're seeing that in LA. You're starting to see it in New York. You're seeing it all over the place. Wherever there's just a mass disparity of wealth, there's just crime and homelessness explodes. And from somebody that works from home, if you're a content creator, I mean, if you're in the realm of just programming and stuff, why would you need to show up to the office? Efficiency, the way life works these days, you're going to quit. You're going to find a job if they force you to come to work. I mean, my fiance goes to work, and her boss wanted her to start coming back full time. She's a graphic designer. She wants her to go back full time, and then they negotiated down to 2 days a week. And now they're down to 1 day a week, because it's just so pointless. Like, why? Like, it's so funny. It's just this new realm, guys. We're in a new world. Like, give your breathing life. Yeah, if you want to work in the engineering space, if you want to do that, I get it. Show up to work. I showed up to work for 10 freaking years as a full-time performer. I traveled. I had to do a lot. But this is the life I chose. Not everyone's going to want this life, but it's a life I like, and it's a life some people may want to choose. So come on, Elon, take a step back, relax a little bit, because you're going to see issues with your own staff, and I think Kevin O'Leary is right. But I'll pass that question off to you. What do you think of Tesla stock? Elon Musk, I'd love to hear about all of it. Give me the bull, give me the bear case. Let me know what you think.